everybody, welcome to Crafty Kiara, and today I want to show you how to make a stacked bow with a tail. To start off with, you want to make sure you have, for your supplies, your needle and thread. You want a heat source to seal your ribbons. You can use a lighter instead of a candle. You want your scissors, of course, and then you want your ribbon. You can use gross grain like I have here, or you can use satin, you can use any kind of ribbon you want. This is more just to show you a technique. Our tail piece here, this one's 9 inches long, and when you do the little divot in, it's going to make it about 8.5 if you're measuring from the point to point there. Pretty straightforward to make a dovetail. You're going to want to fold your ribbon in half, like so. You would cut it with your scissors at an angle, and then you would just seal it in the heat. So we have just one piece for that. I'm only making one tail. You could do 2 tails if you wanted to. That's all up to you. The next piece I have here is going to be the base for our stacked bow. And this is 2 pieces of gross grain here. These are 8.5 inches long. That'll make a 4-inch bow once you put them together with the loop. And then I have 2 pieces here of 6.5 inch ribbon, and that's going to make a 3-inch bow. Alright, so these are all 7/8 inch ribbon. They're all gross grain. Again, you can use satin if you want, or some other type of ribbon. And then I have this here, this is 3/8 inch gross grain, and I'm using this to do a different type of loop, but still a loop nonetheless. These are going to make some figure 8 loops that you can have so they pop up a little bit, so not everything is just flat. These are at 7.5 inches, and they're going to make a 3.5 inch bow. So it's a little bit longer than this one, but since they're going to have a little twist to it, it's going to help bring it in and it'll stack up nicely. And then for the center, because we want to cover up the center part and then use this also to attach your tail, I have this 5/8 inch piece of gross grain, and it is 3 inches long. So as you can see here, this is frayed, so I just need to seal it up here. Alright, so you want to have your needle and thread handy, and here we go. So we're going to start with the base of the bow. In this case, it's going to be our 8.5 inch pieces here. So all you're going to do is you're just going to make a simple loop, and you're going to overlap it in the center like so. That's about 1/2 inch overlap there, and bring it as close to center as you can and make sure everything's nice and even. And then we're just going to do a simple stitch here in the center. This isn't anything special. You're basically just trying to make sure this piece stays together. So I usually go through one way, go back in here, and then try to catch the thread on the other side here so it doesn't pull through. Here we have the one stitch here. Let's add the next layer. So it's still the same size. We're going to overlap it like before, exact same thing, except this time, once we get it all lined up here, you're going to lay it on top of the bow here, but you're going to make an uppercase X. And what I mean by that is, when you're looking at it, it looks like a large X. You're going to have a lot of space on the 2 sides there, and then like a little V at the top. And then you're just going to stitch through and attach this one to the one on the bottom. So here is our base for the stacked bow. So let's add our next layer, and we're going to do the same thing. And then you're going to lay it down. What I usually do is I lay it so it matches up the same direction and same, like everything lines up on the edges because these are the same width as the one down below. And kind of make a crisscross pattern basically. You're going to lay this one to make an X. See? So here we have 2 layers of our stacked bow. So pretty straightforward so far. Alright, now we want to add our 3/8 inch ribbon here. And like I was saying before, you want to do a little twist to it. So you want to make like a little figure 8. So in this case, I'm bringing an end over to the center. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, just the opposite way. Like this. So when you do this, the bow sticks up more, obviously. Kind of sticks up like that. And it'll give it a little bit more oomph when you put it on here. Now, like I said, it's going to get tougher to stitch through here because you're going through so many layers. Just take your time. If you have a cutting mat like this, you can use it to help push the needle through a little bit. Just make sure you don't stab yourself. As centered and straight as possible here. Now what happens if it's not centered and straight? It'll just be a little bit off. Will most people notice it? Probably not. There we go. So now you've got a stacked bow. This looks pretty good. So now we're going to add the tail. Now what I usually do for this is, because you're folding it, first of all you want to make sure you're pretty even on your fold. And if you have a mat like this, you can just kind of line up like that and make sure you're even. That's the easiest way to do it. So I just line it up on a point here, or on the square, just point to point, and then just, there you go. So that's the easiest way to visualize and get it like lined up. At least that's the way I found it. So now we have this piece here, and I want to fold it once. Because what's going to happen is if you leave it with the big edge up there, when you're wrapping the center, it's going to be scrunching it in. You want to not have like a bump there. Alright, so have the needle currently on the back of the bow. So I'm going to stick it through the tail here, pull it, and then work my way down here. Alright, so you see here, we have our tail added on. Alright, so that's what it looks like on the back. It doesn't look like it's really attached, but once you do the center part, it'll bring it all together. Right now, we're just going to kind of eyeball how this is going to go on. So this is going to leave a little bit of a wider spot. So if you wanted to add an embellishment, you could. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull this back. I have it in place where I want to hold on to it back here. Because I'm going to stitch from the front, because this is going to get covered up. See, that piece isn't down right now. Alright, so when I come underneath, but kind of where that's going to pop out at. Let's see here. See how it's kind of like laying there? And then this is going to pull over. And you kind of pull it into place there. Now, you're not going to just stitch right back through because you're going to poke out through the front. And that's going to show your stitching. So you want to just kind of stitch in the back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go part way. Just kind of underneath the bottom layer, but not through, and then just go here. And it's kind of hard to show that. So I kind of just went from the side here, grabbed the layer underneath of this ribbon, and pulled through the side. So that's going to stitch in that direction. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. So you're going to kind of go in, grab the bottom layer, or not the bottom layer, but the layer right underneath, push through, don't stab yourself, and go here. So what happens is that makes this a nice good stitch here, but it doesn't show through on the front. Now if you are concerned about that and you just want to stitch through the front, you could, and you could put some sort of embellishment on there. I don't want to do an embellishment necessarily, so I'm just going to go ahead and stitch it like that. So that makes a nice solid stitch there. And then you're able to just finish off with a knot here. And now you have a nice little bow that you can put on a alligator clip for a hair clip, or you can put it on a headband. Or if you want to make something like this and you want to put it on a gift. If you like what you saw today, please make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. Check out our items that we have in the Crafty Kiara shop, and follow us on our blog at craftykiara.com. And we'll do another video for hair bows, and we'll see how that goes. So I will see you next time in the next video. If you liked what you saw in the video, please like and subscribe to us on YouTube here. You can also follow us on social media. You can also follow us and check out our blog at craftykiara.com. And of course, you can go check out our shop on Etsy for Crafty Kiara Shop. That's all for today, and I'll see you at the next video.